God is our refuge and strength, mighty and impenetrable, a very present help, a well-proved help in trouble. Give me the NKJV. Somebody had better preach with me today because I don't want this to be long. Sawa? Today I just came to encourage somebody because no matter how hard I tried in the past, I would just come and don't know you and just cut things in you. So now today, just be encouraged for 2 minutes. God is your refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. What I know is this. Thank God for the psalmist. Thank God for what he has written. However, he's my help even when I'm not in trouble. Do you know, we box God and we only run to him when we are in trouble. While the psalmist in 91 says, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High, he who dwells in the refuge, he who dwells in the shelter, he who dwells in the safe place, the hiding place of God, shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Meaning it is every time, everywhere I am with God. Do we understand each other? Somebody just has to be conscious about it. Let's go back. I'm still in verse 1. God is our refuge and strength. A refuge, let me just define for you what a refuge is. A refuge is a place or a situation of providing safety, shelter, security, asylum, sanctuary, preservation, safekeeping, harbor, hiding place, a hideaway, a port in a storm from pursuit, danger, or difficulty. And for me, I will add, just for rest. Hello? I go in the shelter because I just want rest. I go in the shelter because I'm in trouble. Somebody is running after me. I have to take a hiding place. I have to take refuge in a particular place. We have refugee camps. These refugee camps are for people who are running away from their homes. They're running away from issues. They're running away from danger. God is that for you and I. I love what the Kiswahili version says. Anasema Mungu kwetu sisi ni kimbilio na nguvu, msaada unaopatikana tele wakati wa mateso. Tele. Do you know what tele means? Abundance, no measure. He is the help that is there for you whenever you need it. Whenever you need him. I love what the English version says. It says, my present help. Is what the pastor said here. Is not from a distance. Wherever you are, your help is. When he said, I will not leave you nor forsake you, he meant it. And I also love what the bishop said, because this is one of the things that has been bothering me. There are many times we listen to the word as if you're just being motivated. Listen, children of God. God speaks. And if you take it as if it's just Pastor so-and-so spoke to encourage you, it ends there. You leave it here. As you walk away, you have walked away. But some of us know, when a man of God stands here, when a woman of God stands here, he's just a vessel. What comes out is God. So when he says, I am a present help for you, he means wherever you are, he is there with you. Before the trouble came, he was there. In the trouble, he was there. After the trouble, he's going to be there because he's forever reliable. Hello? My God is reliable. My God is ever present. And it's not like he doesn't feel what you feel. He is a priest who came from among us. He became man so that he could understand how exactly to represent us before the throne of heaven. He understands exactly what you're going through. God is our refuge and strength. I'm not even going to dwell in strength because Pastor Fred went through it. He is your strength in you and around you. Let me tell you something, somebody. Do you know there are many ways of defining strength? You know, strength is probably your ability to lift up, a certain number of kgs, and the more you try, the more you can take in. For those that wanaendaga gym, unless kama unaendaga kutizama tu watu, lakini if you normally go so that you can actually do the thing, kama unanyanyua chuma, wanakuanzisha kwanza na vikilo vidogo ambavyo you can handle, sawa? And then they increase them. And then the next thing you know, you're holding 5 kgs, and to some people 5 kgs, my God, that's a lot. And then you look beside and you find somebody is holding 10, you're like, 10 is a lot. And then there is somebody else who's holding 15. Then there is another one, 100. And you're like, oh, this one is a professional. My friend, God is in the business of strengthening you. The first trial is going to be worth 5 kgs. The second trial is going to be worth 10 kgs. But if you're able, mnasemaga ni kufanya nini? Please give me the word. Like ukisema ukiachana na kunyanyua, give it to me in English. If you can lift the 5 kgs, then he says, okay, now we are fit. Because 5 kgs is too small for you. So he gives you 10 kgs. That's why the demons you are fighting in 2016 should not be the same demons you're fighting now. Because otherwise it will defile God being your strength. In the beginning, you were contending with 1 + 1 is equal to 2. I see my children, and it is an issue to them. Please, don't laugh. You were once there. In fact, some of you came home crying. Good, Mommy, I could not do 1 + 1. Now, you hear it. What is that? And then you grew up. And then they brought to you. Do you know, the way I don't like math, I don't even remember. I'm not going to stand here and lie to you that I liked math. I didn't like that thing. I got an S on BAM. I did economics, and kwenye mainaniliu nikapata subsidiary. There is a day 1 + 1 was a lot. And then akaja 372 times 13. Woo! My head went like, my God, my God. Sasa, what manner of magic is this? But I had to lift up my muscles just so that I can get there. I remember one time I got 26%. In mathematics, I was in class 7. As I'm saying, and my mother is a mathematics teacher. One of the best, by the way, not that I'm flaunting, one of the best. Some of them have been taught here. She had a tuition right at my home. Sawa? Nilikuwa tunaandika, mimi na dadangu yule pale nyuma, tulikuwa tunaandika maswali ubaoni kwa ajili ya watoto wa tuition wanaokuja. She used to teach math and English. I got 26%, 13 juu ya 50. And my teacher is one of the best in mathematics in the city. Let me tell you, nilifungiwa ndani. TV zilizimwa. Nilikuwa ninakaa pale nyuma hivi. Dadangu yule pale akinifundisha 3 juu ya 7 kujumlisha 4 juu ya 5 ni sawa na macho yanatoka. I am not lying. I am not lying. But she became my tutor for a few months. The next thing you know, I got an A. In my final exams, nikachagulwa msalato. Unajua msalato wewe? Shule ya vipaji. The weight. I had to take in the weight. I had to lift up the weight. God is your strength. Whatever that comes your way, you just have to know this is my size. I'm just not yet used to the weight. Because you lift the weight today and then tomorrow you have to lift it again. In the beginning, your muscles are going to be sore. Muscles itauma. Utaamka utasema tomorrow I'm not going back to the gym because everything in you is painful. But then the next time you lift it again, it has become, it's now too small. That's why there are issues when you bring to me. Mchungaji, wananikaba usiku. I'm like, do you know? I went through this when I was in O-level. It was a big deal. Oh, you wake up, siju umechanjwa mahali. It was a big deal. Now, My God. Yani ukakosa njia zote kabisa ukanchanja. Like for real. Are your weapon that weak? You're coming to me with a stone. You're coming to me with a sword. You're coming to me, mentioning the name of my God however you want. I come to you in the name of the Lord. I come to you with one soft stone. All I know is this. I have been practicing in the secret place. He is my strength. He is my refuge. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. He says God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. I first need to introduce you to your refuge. Maybe take me to Colossians chapter number 1. I said I would be out of your way soon. Let me try. This, some of you know, this is one of it's my favorite scripture in the Bible, by the way. Just so you know. Take me to verse 15 to 20. I even sang about it. Let's go. This is your refuge. This one, the one we're about to talk about today. He is the image of the invisible God. Meaning if you saw Jesus, you saw God. Sawa sawa? The firstborn over all creation. When you talk about all creation, we include Satan and his demons. Hello? So he is the firstborn. Do you know kile kiburi na kuaga nacho watoto wa kwanza? Umenikuta. Do you know the way watoto wa kwanza, they are the ones that want to lead in everything. You should see how Precious is trying to control that whole folk in my house. He is the firstborn over all creation. What I know, big brothers, big sisters are protective. Hello? You do anything to their little ones, they're coming for you. Unless he's a coward. But those ones who know who they are, usiguse mdogo wangu. Now Jesus is your big brother. Come on. I mean, it took you that long? Huh? Jesus is your big brother. He's your refuge. Do you know when you're being bullied? I don't know which school you went to, but there are schools we go to and there are people who we call bullies. There are people who come after you. Wale wakukwambia tutaonana after school. By the time after school is done, unamkuta getini, anavua begi anatupa pembeni. Schwarzenegger is in the play. And then there comes Uyu Kaka wa darasa la 7. The class 7 guy whom everybody fears. He just comes and he says, unafanya nini? Unamtisha mdogo wangu. Hakujui humjui. Kakuonea tu huruma. Unafanya nini mdogo wangu? Everybody scampers. Like they all just leave. No, it's okay. Uko nyuma nakwambia. Going behind the big brother. I mean, he has not done anything. He just showed up. He just showed up. He doesn't have to say. He just shows up. And every other thing realizes an authority has walked in. That is what we deal with when we call God our refuge. I mean, you just have to call Jesus. He says, call unto me and I will answer. He's not a wicked one. When you call upon him, he comes. Hello? Tell your neighbor he comes. Some of you mnasubiria mpaka vimeuma sana mnamuita. Call him. The image of the invisible God. The firstborn over all creation. Let's go. For by him all things were created, that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. It is him who created. So, whether they are demonic principalities, whether they are demonic powers, whether there are certain authorities which do not recognize Jesus as Lord and Savior, God still created them. And he is your refuge. Meaning, if there is a dominion against you, if there is a principality that is working against you, you go to the one who created them. Sikia. The earth is his footstool. Sawa? Yani literally, the earth ni sehemu ya yeye kuweka tu miguu yake. He is in heaven. But yani kwa hapa, okay. Ushai kukaga mahali ukakunja nne juu ya kiti kingine, ukavuta tu kiti afu ukakunja miguu yako. Like you're relaxed. Huh? So God, this earth, this, with all its issues and the system of the world, is just a resting place for him. Meaning, hakuna kitu kinamtii. He is the creator of every single thing you see on earth like this. Whether the devil tried to manipulate or what, he is the creator. By him all things were created that are in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible. Whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. I don't care how powerful these powers think they are. God that lives inside of you is above them. He says all things were created through him and for him. Meaning even the devil. Let it sink. For him. You remember when we went through Corinthians chapter number 5? You know, somebody once asked me, so does it mean God answers the devil's prayers? And then we spoke about, he spoke about how God told, how Jesus was telling Peter, the devil has asked. Yani ni ameenda kwa Mungu, akatoa maombi yake, kwamba akujaribu. Na Mungu akajibu maombi yake, akakubali upepetwe kama ngano, ili ukitoka huko uje watie nguvu waamini wengine. God answered the devil's prayer. And you're here thinking he will not answer your prayer. Who is the favorite between you and the devil? Listen, when the devil is in so-called trouble, because he is trouble by himself, when he is in trouble, first I don't know who he calls upon. But if at all he would call upon God, he won't even hear. I mean, but let me bring it home. I know each of my children's voices. Each of them I know. That is Danny. And that is a fake cry. This is the I want attention cry. And then there is kilio kimoja unatoka uliko. Mbio, because you know this is trouble. This is a real deal. This is the real thing. Any parent will testify to that. Now, between you, when you're in real, true trouble and in need of God, and the devil, Mungu anaenda kwa nani kwanza? And then you are here busy, afraid of asking. 1. 2, questioning if at all he's going to answer your prayer, while he has answered the devil's prayer. Okay. All things were created through him and for him. He is before all things, and in him all things consist. Give me the amplified in this one. I wish I had 2 believers. I wish I had 2 believers. Just 2 believers. Take me to the amplified, I beg. He said, and he himself existed and is before all things, and in him all things hold together. In him all things hold together. In him your business holds together. In him your marriage holds together. In him your academics hold together. In him all things, excluding none, holds together. If at all you feel like somebody is or something is running away from you, or you're losing control over something, it's because you are in control. But if he was in control, in him everything is held together. He is the controlling, cohesive force of the universe. Take me back, to Psalm 46, verse 2 now. Hey, he's the what? Controlling, cohesive force of the universe. Let's go. I promise you from here, I'll be done. He says, therefore, we will not fear. Even though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. Let me tell you something. I had to Google, what can take for the earth to be removed? I was taken back to my geography class. Another thing I didn't like. Remember the structure of the earth? You remember. Should I give you a mic? There is the crust. Then there is the mantle. So not just the core, the outer core. And then there is the inner core. For the earth to be removed. This girl of 13 years old brought this question in the. It's a scientific blog, and it says, number one, for the earth to be removed, the sun has to be removed from the center. Rudi kwenye geography class ya Mwalimu Swai. Sawa. You see how the solar system, and then the sun is at the center, and you know the earth is the third one. I remember. Leave me alone. If you want to remove the earth, adjust the position of the sun. Because the sun is immovable. It can't move. Now, if you have the ability, move the sun, then the earth can be removed. 1. 2, if you can increase the velocity. Who remembers what velocity is? This is another one I didn't like. Physics. I dropped it when I was in Form 2. But look, you know, when my dad used to say, don't run away from math, you'll find it everywhere. I never believed him until now. There is nowhere I go without math. Now, I thought I was done with physics, only to come across it in the Bible. If you are going to remove the earth, you have to increase the velocity of the earth. That is, increase the speed of this in a specific direction. Kama dunia. I know I'm not wrong. Okay. Okay. Velocity simply means that you increase speed in a specific direction. So if the earth is going this way, increase the speed of the earth. So make it go fast. Sawa? Because as it does, it's like in a loose orientation of what is already set by God. Remember, the universe is held together by the word of God. Period. He said, let there be, and it was. He created the sun, the moon, the skies, every other thing. He just said, let there be. Now, if there is a human being that has the ability to tell the earth, go around the sun faster, 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 then there will be a removal of the earth. Let's go. Number 3, for the earth to be removed, there has to be a collision of earth with another extraterrestrial body. Which has more mass than the earth. You remember mass? At least that you should remember. Kama kuna kitu kina uzito zaidi ya dunia, and it is an extraterrestrial whatever, like it is in the universe, Ikija ikapiga the earth, then we can remove the earth. But I love the conclusion of this scientist. He said, however, that is going to take a lot of energy and power, and we don't have any of it. This is a scientist who is acknowledging that we can't do that. Another way of removing the earth and what is to remove the life of the earth is by freezing the inner core of the earth. How? Now, that's the same thing. I'm also wondering how. Because you remember in the outer core is where there is lava. Is where there is that molten iron. Sawa? So it's it's fire. That is what causes life on earth. That, at the end of the day, is what causes you the magnetic force, and then everything is held together because of that. Sawa sawa? Now, if you have to remove life from earth, you have to make sure that that place is frozen, like dry frozen. Haichemki. That is how you remove the earth and life on the earth. Now, this psalmist is saying, if there is one that has the ability to remove the earth, still, I will not fear. If there is one that has the ability to cause velocity, to increase velocity, if one has the ability to remove the earth from where it is out of its orbit, I will still not fear. You know, this psalmist had an understanding that it is God who is holding everything together. Meaning, even the day God decides I am removing it, I will not fear, because I know it is Him who is in charge. You missed a good place to shout. You missed a good place. Meaning, nina uhakika 100% no human being has the ability to freeze the inner core. These guys are saying that the earth has been losing its warmth for the many past years. But then he says it's going to take 1 billion years for the inner core to be frozen, because in 1 year, what is in your pore is 2 millimeters. In a whole year, kinachopoa kwenye ile moto, the lava, is just 2 millimeters. How many years will you need to freeze the earth or the inner core of the earth? But God can say, freeze. God can say, you're done. Ana uwezo wa kuikunja dunia kama karatasi, na anaweza kachora nyingine. I mean, I'm not exaggerating matters. He is your refuge now. Huyo. You know, this guy understood. This guy understood. He says, therefore, we will not fear. Kuna vitu tumeviona sisi wewe. At least tumesikia mababu zetu kwa kwamba bahari zilifunguka. We have seen what he's capable of doing. Not that he can't do it. He says, though we will not fear, even though the earth be removed. Remove it however you want. First, I know you don't have the ability. 2, if at all it is removed, it is him. And if it is him who has removed it, then I'm safe. So you want to tell me? There is this certain man of God who was preaching, and he really just made me. So you want to tell me? A certain auntie, kijijini kibosho huko, is the one that has the ability to make your life however she wants. As in, she's in the villages. You are in Dar es Salaam, and somehow you are convinced you're not getting a job because the one in the village is, is doing some things on you. While your present help is right there with you. He's present. Not that he will come. Not that he will come. When he says, I'll never leave you nor forsake you, I mean, not that he will, it's not from a distance, as the pastor said. He's right there with you. And you think somebody from Kigurunyembe has the ability to throw akadono, akadimono, or aka whatever, so that when you are in that when you're in that interview, you just say, my name is my name is come out in Jesus' mighty name. That's a lie. If that happens, you don't know the God you serve. Then you don't know, like you have never heard. Because he preached deliverance to them. All you have to do is to hear, to know. That's all you need, to know. Take me back to Colossians so that we finish. I had to take you through my science a little bit. Colossians chapter 9, I want us to go because I know some of you are already saying, you know what, we are done. He is also the head, the life source and leader of the body. That's why there is nothing you can do to the church. There's nothing you can do to the church. You like it, you don't like it. The one who is the head of that church holds it together. He says, the life source, the leader of the body, the church. And he is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead. Meaning even the dead things have a preeminent. The dead things have a firstborn. Meaning if he was the first one to get raised from the dead, many more shall be raised from the dead. Many more of your situations shall be raised from the dead. He is the firstborn from the dead, so that he himself will occupy the first place. He will stand supreme and preeminent in what? This is your confidence. Unajua hakuna kitu kinafungua kama kweli ya Mungu. Ndio maana Biblia inasema utaijua kweli nayo kweli itakuweka huru. And he who the Son sets free is free indeed. You are freed by a knowledge like this. You can't tell me kwamba vitu sasa vinakuwa vigumu because, I mean, look. He will stand supreme and preeminent in everything. And then let's go to verse 19. Let's go to the next verse, please. He says, this is where I like it. I want these people to see as well. He says, you see all that is the firstborn, is the supreme, you know, the first one is the preeminent in every single thing. So. Then, God in all his wisdom, it pleased the Father for all the fullness, not portions, not partly, all the fullness of deity, the sum total of his essence, all his perfection. That's why I told you everything about you is blessed. Sawa. All his the perfection the Father had, all the powers, all the attributes, kila aina ya sifa unaweza kumpa Mungu. It pleased the Father that it should dwell permanently in him, the Son. And then it pleased the Father even more that this one whose all this is, you know, like permanently resides in him, to come and reside in you. I mean, now let us read it from this side. So this is where the mathematics come in. It pleased the Father in all his wisdom. Sawa. God. Mungu kama Mungu unayemjua wewe. Sawa. Ama yule at least unayemfikiria. God. It pleased him. He saw it wise. He saw in the counsel of himself, because he does not need help from men. And thought all the fullness of deity, uungu, sawa, the sum total of his essence, what makes God God, the sum total of what makes God God, all his perfection, all his powers, and all his attributes, to dwell permanently in Nsiandumi. You missed it. Because the mathematics is, if it dwells permanently in Jesus, it dwells permanently in you. You have all the powers. You have all the attributes. You have the last say. You have the wisdom of God. You have all you could ever think you need. You have it within you. Hujaiba. Hujapakaziwa. It has been freely given unto you. Freely. You don't pay for any of it. That is your refuge. That is your confidence. Now, all this I've been saying here, if after the service you come to me and you say, Pastor, nahitaji maombi yako, nitakwambia subiria siku atakapo upload hawa YouTube, soma. Sikiliza, andika notes. Because James says, immaturity, I'm paraphrasing, immaturity is when a person reads the word or hears the word and does not allow it to make any change in them. He says it is like a person looking at themselves in the mirror and then walking away, not fixing anything. Umejiangalia kwenye kioo ukaona, sijakaa vizuri hapa, nina harage hapa, sijui nywele zimekaaje, but you did not bother to make any change. You turned around and you forgot how you look like. We have been gazing at a mirror. Are we together? We have been gazing at a mirror. We have been looking at who we really are. Meaning your work is going to remove who you are not. You are not weak. You are not a failure. You are not frail. You are not a disappointment. You are not ugly. You are perfect. Listen, listen. The sum total of his essence, all his perfection. The perfection of God is at work inside of you. Do you understand each other? That is who you really are. So you correct yourself to align to this truth. And you start walking as what is written there. Do we understand each other? Hello? Hello? Nimemaliza sayansi yangu. If you're blessed, just stand up on your feet. You know, there are times it might take somebody some time to take in some of these things. But then that will also defile what the scriptures say, that we have the mind of Christ. So if we have the mind of Christ, we have the ability to catch whatever that has been shared here. It's a matter of knowing. Like it's coming to a place of knowing and realization that I am what the scriptures say I am. Hello?